Good afternoon, friends. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make this pretty earring. It's quite simple actually, doesn't take much time. It may look complicated, but it's actually quite simple. Alright, so for this, as usual, we will be needing jewelry making thread and needle, a thread cutter, a earring hook, some green seed beads and white seed beads, and a pair of pliers. Okay, so let's get started. You need to take 4 green beads and make a knot. All right, make a couple of knots actually. So we are done with this. Now just go to one side of the square, up both the beads, take 2 more beads, go through these 2 beads, now go back into these 2 beads we just inserted, go through these, take another couple of beads, do the same thing, go through these from the top. When the thread is hanging down at the bottom, you need to insert the beads from top. When the thread is on top, you need to insert the beads from the bottom. Alright, so now we do the same thing. Okay, so we do the same thing to get a column of 7. Okay, so we have done 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we need to do 3 more. All right. Okay, so let's complete 2 more and get back. We've done 5. Okay, let's do 2 more and get back. So we are done with 7 columns. All right, now we need to do the increase from the next column. So we'll have to have 8 columns in the next row. Okay, so let's do that. Take 4 beads to start with and get into this loop here. Okay, now get into these 2 seed beads that are towards the inside. Okay, so get into these 2 seed beads. Okay, so this is how it will start looking. Take 2 more beads, insert into the next loop here. Okay, get back into these 2 seed beads here which we just inserted, get back into that. So you have another row forming. Now on this row, as I mentioned earlier, you should have 8 columns. Okay, the bottom row we started with 7. Now this next one will be 8 columns. So let's finish this row and get back. So we've done 7 columns. We are left with no more loops. So what you need to do is insert 2 more beads on the side here to get your 8th column. Okay, so this is how you do it. Okay, and there you've got your 8th column. Okay, now you need to insert the needle up through these 2 beads. Turn your work around. Take 4 beads to start a fresh row. In this row you will have 9 columns. Okay, so we've got 8 columns here, as you can see. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Okay, so now you need to get 9 columns. Take 4 beads, get into the first loop here, just a moment. Get into the first loop here, with 4 beads. Go up these 2 beads here, need to just pull the string a bit tight so the beads don't keep slipping out of your hand. Okay, so this is how it will look. I'll show you a couple more and we will continue till we reach 12 columns. Okay, so I've taken 2 more beads here, get into the next loop here, get back into these 2 beads. It's really difficult with these tiny beads. Okay, so this is how it will start looking. Now ensure that you have 9 columns in this line. 9 columns in this line. Next will be 10. The one after that will be 11. The one after that will be 12. So we'll do till 12 columns and then get back. All right. So we are coming to the end of our last row. Okay, I'll just show you how to finish it off. No changes, it's just the same, but for better clarity I'm just showing it to you again. Just turning my work around just for a better hold. So that's it, friends. Here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 columns. Okay, now we are done with these green rows. From here on we start incorporating the white beads. All right, so we start with 4 beads on the side, 4 beads on the side, and 4 beads on the side, and in between green beads. Okay, so we have completed this row with 12 columns. The next row should ideally have 13 columns, including the white beads. Okay, so take 4 white beads, get into these 2 white beads. Now, except for the last 2 white beads here and 2 white beads beyond this, the rest of it will be green beads. Okay, so let's come to this point. Okay, and then we'll finish the row. So we are almost at the end. We have only one loop left here. At this point you need to start inserting the white beads. Okay, so take 2 white beads, insert into this loop here, come out of it, get back into the same white beads, okay. Now the last 2 white beads will go between this. Okay, so now get back into these 2 white beads here. So here we are. We ended this row with 12 columns, the next with 13, including these 2 white columns here and 2 white columns here. Okay, so you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 green columns. Okay, now like these 4 beads, you need to insert 8 beads here. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. That will be 4 columns of white beads, the rest green, and here you'll have 4 columns of white beads again. Okay, so I'll just show you this and we'll finish the rest on our own and get back. So I have 4 white beads here. Go into this loop here. Come back inside. Have I taken 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 beads. Okay, now get back into these 2 white beads. Now take 2 white beads again. Get into the loop next to the previous column, into this loop here. Go through these 2 beads again. One moment. It's easier when you turn the work around. So we have 3 columns of white. Okay, we need to get one more column of white. So we've got 4 columns of white beads here, this corner. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Similarly, we need to get 4 columns of white beads in this corner as well. So we start from this point. Okay, 1, 2, 3 and 4. The fourth one will come out, right? So, and in between you will be adding only the green beads. Okay, so let's complete this and get back. So here we are now. We are done with the green columns. We start the white columns from here, 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay, so let's do that. Now the last column will be inserted here. Okay, so now that we are at this point, we've got 4 white columns to start with and 4 white columns we are ending with. Okay, so the next row will be 6 white columns. We start with 6 white columns and end with 6 white columns. Okay, in between will be these green beads. So we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 columns of green beads here. So here we are now. We are done with the green columns. We start the white columns from here, 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay, so let's do that. Now the last column will be inserted here. Okay, so now that we are at this point, we've got 4 white columns to start with and 4 white columns we are ending with. Okay, so the next row will be 6 white columns. We start with 6 white columns and end with 6 white columns. Okay, in between will be these green beads. Let's get this going with 6 white columns. Okay, all right, let's finish that and get back. All right, so here we are. We have 1 2 3 4 5 6 white columns on either side and 3 green columns in this last row. Okay, now we have and 3 green columns in the last row. Okay, so what we need to do here is bring your thread and needle to this point. Okay, come here and then we will continue. Just go up and down these white beads till you reach this point. Okay, so let's do that. And notice one thing, you have this zigzag pattern right on both the sides. So looking at that, you'll know that you're on the right track. You've not made any mistakes. All right, here we are now. Here you need to take 1 2 3 4 green beads here. All right, so from this point on, take 4 green beads and come up this green bead here. All right, okay, here we are. Now go to the very next white bead. Very next white bead. Now we have, leave these last 2 beads out of the last row we had made. Okay, that's 1 2 3 4 5 6 columns we had made, right? So leave off these 2 beads, white beads here. Don't take that into count. Just count the beads below that. There will be 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Yeah, that's about 8 white beads. Okay, so take 8 white beads. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Okay, now come to this next white bead here and go up into it. So come to the next white bead, we took 8 white beads here. Next you could take 13 white beads. So with every loop you need to add an increase of 5 white beads, or maybe 1 or 2 beads extra depending on the size of the beads, because these beads are not even sized. Okay, so there will be a variation of 1 or 2 beads in each loop. Ensure that each loop hangs below the previous one comfortably without overlapping. Okay, it should not overlap on the loop above it. It should hang well below to form a good composition. Okay, like this. Okay, nothing is overlapping here, right? Okay, let's do that. Let's increase each loop with 5 white beads, if not maybe 1 or 2 extra, so that it sits well below the previous loop, the loop above it. Okay, so we've got 8 here. I'm taking 13 now. The 13 beads are good enough here in this, for this loop to sit comfortably well just above it. Okay, so this is how it will be. Hope you can see this clearly. Okay, let me finish that loop and show it to you. Here it's sitting perfectly well, right? It's not overlapping. Okay, similarly let's finish the remaining loops. Go from one point to another, one bead after the other. Okay, increase by 5 or 6 beads depending on the length of the loop. All right, let's finish that and get back. So friends, this is how it looks. I started with the 4 green beads, then increased the white loops by 5 beads each. It may not work in the same manner for you, depending on the size of your beads and the disparity of the size of your beads or the uniformity of your beads. The number of beads in each loop will vary. All that you need to ensure is that the loops sit well and don't overlap each other. Okay, now we need to work ourselves to this point right on top to fix the earring hook. All right, so let's do that. Let's work our way through right up and get back. So here we are. I worked my way up to the center here, taken one more green bead here and added the earring hook. So let's secure that, running the needle through this bead. And through the earring hook 4 or 5 times and making it nice and tight. So here we are. We've attached the earring hook. Now just knot it off. Go down at any point here. share it with me. Also, please subscribe to my channel Pandora's Crafts and Jewelry. Watch my videos, share the same with all your contacts, and subscribe to my channel. Okay, so stay tuned for my next video. See you all till then. Bye bye.